welcome to another episode of I Demand a Homestead. My name is Amanda, and today what we're going to be talking about is how to overwinter plants like peppers, but also one that many people don't know about is eggplant. All right, so these plants you can actually put out of the ground and bring into your house, and basically you're going to put them into a state of dormancy so that they're just kind of sleeping all through the winter, so that way, come the spring, they're ready for you to bring out and start growing, and you should get peppers and more of them because your plants will be nice and strong. And not only that, but you save money from not having to buy seedlings. And then if there's a particular kind of eggplant or pepper that you really love, and it's hard to find the seeds, that way you can keep that plant producing for you for several years. All right, let's get started. So it's the fall here in southern Ontario in Canada. This is my row of peppers and eggplant. And we are going to get a hard frost coming, probably not tonight, but tomorrow night. So I need to get the plants I'm going to save out of the ground. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick all the remaining fruit that is on these eggplants and all of my remaining peppers. Look at this beautiful poblano pepper, gorgeous. So I'm going to pick all those, regardless of whether they look completely mature. I'm going to bring them in and we can use those to cook with. So here is my basket of eggplant and peppers, and then I've got some butternut squash in here that I also was pulling off in advance of the frost. All right, now for the next step. So what you're going to need to do this overwintering, you're going to need some pots. Now they recommend about a gallon pot for each, or about 4 liters for each pepper or eggplant that you want to overwinter. You're going to need some clean soil. Ideally it would be sterilized potting soil. I don't have any of that, so I'm going to be using topsoil that was underneath the tarp, so it's relatively clean. And then if you like, you're also going to need to have some water mixed with insecticidal soap that you can dip the roots of the plants in, just to make sure that there aren't any pests that are going to overwinter with your peppers or eggplants. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig up my eggplants that I want to overwinter, and then we'll get them ready to go into the pots. Okay, so here is one of my eggplants, and here is one of my peppers. Obviously, we're not going to overwinter it like this. This is kind of huge. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to hose off all the extra dirt. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this plant and we're going to prune off most of the branches. You're basically going to get down to where you've just got like either the stem or a few little nodes here. That's all you want. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of dunk them in our insecticidal soap here, and I'm going to leave them to sit just while I'm getting all the other plants ready. I'm also pulling off any remaining leaves while I do that. You want to do that because all these extra branches, for one thing, we don't want it producing leaves. And all these extra branches and leaves are just a place for insects and bugs to hide, okay? So that's why we wash off all the soil and we take off all the stems. Now, I'm gonna just put all my peppers in here together so that way I don't forget which plant I've got where. Okay, so here are all my pepper plants. Now I'm gonna get my pots ready. I'm gonna fill this up about 1/3 full with soil. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, after I've kind of squished this around, I'm gonna take 3 of these plants and I'm going to spread them in this pot, okay? Spreading out the roots nicely. All right, so that they're not in a ball. And I'm kind of leaning them against the edges because that's easiest for me. And then I'm going to fill it up to just kind of just above the root line here, okay? Now what I'm going to do, because I don't want these too deep in here, I'm just going to kind of give them a little pull up like that. And that just kind of allows those roots to spread a bit more, okay? Like so. So that way you're only burying up to the crown of the plant. Now this is pretty like moist soil, but it's not wet. So what I'm gonna do is when I bring these inside, I'm gonna wet this, okay? I don't want it to be so crazy heavy that I can't carry it. All right, now I'm gonna do the same thing for my next set of pepper plants. Pretty much exactly the same thing for my eggplants. Okay, we're gonna trim off the stems again till we get down to basically just like one node here, 2 nodes. I'm gonna take off the leaves and then I'm gonna dip them in my insecticidal soap, give them a good squish, swish, 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 and then leave them there while I'm getting the other ones ready. All right, and again, we're gonna fill up our pot 1/3 of the way with soil. We're going to put in our eggplants again, and then I'm gonna fill them up again, probably about an inch above the root ball, or yeah, and then I'm gonna pull them up again just to kind of spread those roots out, same as I did before. Okay, and then we just gently tamp those down, and then we're gonna take them inside to that nice spot for overwintering. Okay, so now I have moved my pots inside, and let me show you kind of where you, like what kind of a location you're actually looking for. So I've got mine in the basement. So you want a nice cool location because you don't want to really encourage them to grow too much. We've got a walkout here. So by this door gets fairly cool. Just because there is some kind of cool air that seeps in through the window there. You want an indirect source of light, okay? I've got the fluorescent lights on here in our basement now too, so normally it would actually be darker than this. So this is probably pretty perfect, right? I've got a little kind of old window here, and I've got a window there, no direct light, okay? And it's cool. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna leave them here, and every so often I'm going to come down and I'm going to check and make sure that this soil is moist, all right? So okay, you touch it gently. You want to feel that the dirt kind of just sticks to your fingertips, just like that, okay? So that's what you're looking for. You don't want it to be sopping wet, all right? Just moist. And if it's getting dried out, just give it a little bit more water. And then the other thing too is if you start to notice any leaves coming on these branches, you're going to kind of just pluck them off, all right? Because again, we don't want this to start growing, okay? And then hopefully, kind of once the days start getting a little bit longer in the spring, I am going to, you can do one of 2 things. You can either kind of have a little cold frame or some kind of like a little indoor, or sorry, a little greenhouse. You can put them out in that. Your other option is you can move them up to where you've got a really, really bright window. You might need a couple of extra grow lights on top of them if you're going to do that. You'll just have to kind of wait and see how it does to make sure that they're getting enough sunlight. All right, so but this is all you need to do for now. So I won't need to do anything with these probably until about March. So I'll leave them until then. If you enjoyed this episode of I Demand a Homestead, please feel free to press the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that way you never miss another one of my videos. I hope everybody gives this a try. I am going to do a little bit of a comparison next year to see which produces first and which produces more, whether I start these from seed or whether I use the overwintered ones. Okay, I'm going to try and keep a record of that, and then hopefully I can pass that information on to you so you guys can make some better decisions about whether this is the right idea for you. All right, everybody, have a great day. Goodbye.